$7.9 billion. Yes, the net worth of Rolex in 2020 was $7.9 billion. How did an 11-year-old boy get the inspiration to build a brand like Rolex? What makes Rolex to be the supreme of all watches? Rolex manufactures only 2,000 handmade watches in a day. Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel Bubso Business. Think growth, think Bubso. I'm Varun Kukreja and today I will be discussing what made Rolex to be the grand success at a global level. Rolex was established in 1908, but did you know that the journey began in 1900? Yes, Hans Wilsdorf, the founder of Rolex, was a worker in a watch manufacturing company in 1900, where he learned about watches and the other tiny things that used to manufacture a watch. His sincere dedication is why the Rolex watch is the only watch that is not affected by climatic conditions. The proof was Edmund Hillary, the mountaineer who climbed Mount Everest in the year 1945 wearing the Rolex watch. He mentioned that he did not have to worry about the time even reaching the highest peak. Hans Wilsdorf always wanted to give his customers a touch of luxury and royalty. So today the watches are being tested for many things like high water pressure test, high altitude test before sending them to the customers. To your surprise, even today Rolex produce only 2,000 watches in a day to ensure the watches are of premium quality and up to the standards only. They are handmade and tested wisely before sending them as the final product. Rolex focused on 5 pillars of brand equity: brand awareness, brand association, perceived quality, brand loyalty, and proprietary assets, or you can say uniqueness. More information is waiting for you, but before proceeding with it, make sure you have subscribed to our channel Bubso Business. My mates and I will try to bring more such inspiring stories to get on with your business. According to Statista.com, the net worth of Rolex last year stood at $7.9 billion approximately. Ever wondered what made this small watchmaking company from London manage to dominate the globe with its principle and uniqueness? So let me start this video by taking you to the year 1881, the year when the man behind Rolex was born. Hans Wilsdorf was born in the year 1881 in Germany as the second son of his family. At the age of 12, the 3 children became orphans and were sent to the boarding school for academic excellence. In his autobiography, he mentioned that his success credit goes to his uncles who made him self-reliant in the early stages of his life. Our uncles were not indifferent to our fate. Nevertheless, how they made me self-reliant very early in life made me acquire the habit of looking after my possessions and looking back. I believe that much of my success is due. After completing the school at the age of 19, he started working a watch exporting company owned by his friend's father as an apprentice. Learning the art of watchmaking and a zeal to do something made Hans Wilsdorf start with his venture in 1905 under the name Wilsdorf and Davis, along with his brother-in-law Alfred Davis in London. And so they started with importing watches. Then as their business started brimming, they thought of producing their watches. The idea and aim were to provide the best quality timepieces at an affordable price. Hans Wilsdorf had heard about Hermann Igler, a famous watch manufacturer in 1902. He wished to tie up with him someday. 1905 was his year where he got to fulfill his wish. Rolex took the most significant order for wristwatches ever until Rolex took complete control over Igler in 2004. Hans said that he tried every combination of alphabets to make his brand name sound royal, yet easy to pronounce. But one day, a genie whispered his ear to go with Rolex, and so they branded the name to Rolex in 1908. The company was growing and gaining popularity for its uniqueness and customer-centric approach. In 1914, just 4 days before World War I, it was declared the first watchmaking company to obtain a Class A certificate by the New Observatory. However, in 1915, the government in London imposed a 33% custom duty that made Rolex move its headquarters to Switzerland in 1918. It is the same headquarters that they have even today. Rolex started to capture public attention and customers' hearts rapidly and introduced the first water-resistant watches in 1926 under the name Rolex Oyster. Hans had always dreamed of creating a watch that is not affected by the climate condition at all, and this urge to do something different made his company upgrade the timepieces timely. In 1931, Rolex launched a Rolex Perpetual that would automatically wind its movement by harnessing energy captured from the rotation of a bi-directional rotor inside the Rolex watch. Hans was a dedicated man, and which is why when the Rolex watches were confiscated during World War II, he looked over the matter, mentioning that the watches would be replaced and won't be charged until the end of the war. The upgrading mind didn't stop there, and in 1945, Rolex introduced the Datejust, a watch that showed the current date and time. It was such a successful attempt that it made it to Winston Churchill's wrist. It was the same year when Tata was making statements for its game-changing business tactics in India. Tata was actually flourishing in India and Rolex was active in Switzerland. In 1953, famous mountaineer Edmund Hillary mentioned that he wore a Rolex watch while he was at the peak. There was never a time when he lost a count on current timing even for a second. In 1954, Rolex introduced the Submariner, which was tested by Jacques-Yves Cousteau, the legendary French explorer and aquanaut. In 1955, it introduced the Day-Date model, which was yet another revolution in the wristwatch industry, followed by many watchmaking companies across the globe. In 1956, Rolex introduced Rolex Milgauss, a special edition for the scientist as an anti-magnetic approach. Hans never had any children, so Rolex ownership went to a charitable trust which even today is successfully working following the original vision of Hans Wilsdorf. So you see, Rolex was started by a teenager who made his vision clear and focused without letting anyone come in between. His sense of marketing and brand equity are the keys that made him build a brand like Rolex. His 5 brand equity pillars were brand awareness, brand association, perceived quality, brand loyalty, and proprietary assets, or you can say uniqueness. He promoted his brand to spread awareness and associate with their needs by hosting events offline and online. He focused on premium quality that even today passes 1,000 tests before getting out as the final product. He ensured that his customers should always get the best touch and supervised personally to keep the brand loyal. And last, with its continuous upgradation, it managed to sustain its uniqueness among its customers. So that was it for today's video. I hope you will leave this video with a handful of motivation. Let me know what you think of Hans Wilsdorf's journey. Was it inspiring? You can check out our more videos for some inspiration, and do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel Bubso Business. You can follow our social media handles. The links are given in the description below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I will be waiting.